To root your Galaxy S8 Plus or Galaxy S8, there are some things we need to do before we start the process. So here you go, this is my Galaxy S8 Plus, and let me just show you what we need to do. We need to go into Settings, and we need to go in here to Phone, and you want to make sure that your model is the SMG 955U or 955U1. Those are the two variants that this will function on. This is for Qualcomm devices, obviously. It'll also work on the SM-G 950U and 950U1 if you're on the S8, not the S8 Plus. Okay. The other thing you want to note, and this is very important, is to go ahead and note your baseband version or your the base of your build version right here. The last three digits, the QEF, is what's important. We're going to need that at a later time to finish this, to fully get this process functioning. Now this is a long process, so you're going to have some time set aside before you do this. Also, if you have anything on your phone that you want to preserve that isn't backed up to the cloud somehow, make sure you get it all off before you start this process. This could wipe some data, factory reset your devices, could do all kinds of things. Could be big headaches if you don't know what you're doing or if you can't follow the steps correctly, so be prepared. Last, besides that, before you start the process, make sure you go to Sam Mobile or even my site, rootjunkiestl.com, and download the correct firmware for your device. Okay? There you go. Those are all my warnings. We've got the device right here. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing into download mode so we can start this root process. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and power it off. And then we're going to hold Bigsby button, volume down, and then power. And that's going to put us into download mode. And then we're going to hit volume up on this screen. And you are in download mode. Okay? Makes sense? All right, very good. Let's go to the computer and start this process on the computer. Alright guys, so here is the firmware that I have pre-downloaded from my device, all these files. Again, it is the QEF, you can see it right here, QEF version. This is, for mine, is the 955U. So I've got the firmware I need for the device. It's the just-in-case firmware. Great to have this. Besides that, you're going to download this, and I'm going to zip this up and give you this file, and it's going to contain all of this stuff, okay? This is going to be everything you're going to need to get root functioning on this device. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and open up this file right here, which is Odin mod, but we're going to load, not that, we're going to load this, okay? See these 4 files? These are basically hacked firmware files. They're proprietary to Samsung, leaked files, and we're going to load them into this Odin version, okay? So for that to happen, we're going to open it up. Here's Odin. I'm going to plug in my device, which is in download mode, and you're going to see it connect. So if your drivers are not installed, you might have to do that. They might wait for a little bit to install, but you can see it connect. It says it's added, okay? It doesn't matter what COM port it's on. It just needs to say added right here. All right. So now we're going to click on this, and we're going to navigate to where I have those files. So root firmware, I showed you earlier right here. So BL needs to go into the BL right there. AP needs to go into AP. CP needs to go into CP. And CSC needs to go into CSC. There we go. Now, on this version, it doesn't check everything. So you can see it didn't do a bunch of checks. Generally, when you flash firmware, it does. But with this Odin, it doesn't. So a little less safe, but that's what we've got to work with. This is the only way to do this. So we're going to go ahead and click Start. And this is going to flash the device. Now, this flash will take about the normal time that it takes to flash a normal device, so there's nothing like really crazy going on here. It's going to take about 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, and then it's going to reboot the phone. Okay, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So as soon as it's done, we're going to show you how the phone reboots and show you the rest of the process. Alright, so there you go. You can see the device just reset itself. Odin has finished on the computer. And right now, we're just waiting for this process to happen. You can see there's an interesting startup screen here, right? So this is part of this root method, and it's going to be on there from now on, because basically what this is you know, an engineered bootloader that's going to be on the device at this point. You can see that it also boots up like this, okay? So there's a couple options. One, you could go in here and you wipe data, factory reset the phone if you'd like, so you have a fresh, clean install of this rooted firmware. or you can just do reboot system now. So that's what I'm going to do, is just do reboot system now. And it's going to go ahead and boot up the firmware. So again, here you go, you see this. So generally when you flash firmware, it goes through a wipe data factory reset, and that's why I went to the recovery screen there. It just wasn't automated on this firmware. If you flash back to stock, it would just do that and you wouldn't have an issue. You wouldn't have to do any interface button pushing or anything. But with this modified firmware, you can see that you got to do a little bit with it. So we're just going to wait for this to boot up here. So guys, that actually took about 4 minutes, and it looks like it did go ahead and wipe data factory reset. Even though I didn't do the wipe data factory reset and recovery, it went ahead and did it. So when you do this flash, you, like I said, want to make sure you back up your content because it does reset the device. So from here, we're just going to go through the startup menu and start up everything, get everything going. That's just going to be helpful for us to get it all back and off the startup screen here. We can just skip everything. I mean, you could set it up like a normal device if you want, and actually it's going to need to be done at some point. But right now, I just need to get the thing over to, you know, the startup screen or the home screen so that we can finish this process. So do all that. Just skippity scap. Just get through the setup wizard, and you'll be all good to go. There we go. All right, we are on it. All right, so from here, we're basically just going to go back to the computer. We're going to go ahead and plug the device back in with USB cable, and we're going to make sure we enable ADB. So I'm going to actually go ahead and actually maybe just leave this right here and show you guys how I'm going to do this. So it'll be really easy. There should be a pop-up that comes up on the device for ADB, and you're just going to make sure you allow that. And I'll show you what I'm going to do on the computer so you know what I'm doing. So there's ADB. Always allow and hit OK. Okay? Very good. Excellent. Now let's go back to the computer. So guys, this is where the fun join starts in. So we can close out of the modified Odin, and we can come back in here. Now, I've already got ADB right in here, so you don't even have to have it set up. So just to get that ADB devices and allow up on your device, you're just going to hold shift in this folder here, and then right click, open command window here, or PowerShell, either one would work, ADB devices, and then when that goes ahead and runs, what you're going to see happen is you'll get that prompt on your phone screen at this point right now. So if you haven't allowed it, that's what I'm doing to force the prompt to allow ADB on your screen like you saw in the last little clip. So we can close this out. And basically at this point, I've automated some of the process with this right here to make this a little easier. And this is still a complicated method, but we're going to get root on the device, and you're going to see how it's done. So we're going to go ahead and just run this little script. And it tells you right here, please type set SID SU0. Okay, so we're going to type that in. Set SID SU0. Hit enter. And you can see it gives you this little thing here. Warning, won't have full job control. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to type in exit. And you're going to keep typing exit, because as you can see, there's a root shell, but it's not stable yet. And this can be a real pain in the butt, because you got to keep typing it until we return nothing. And if it doesn't work, we have to run it all over again. It's a very fickle method to gain root entry, but it is working. Oh, right there. So see, as soon as you see that, type ID. All right, and it looks like it didn't work, so we're going to do an exit again, and it failed. So now you just got to run it again. I'm glad you guys saw that, so you can know how this works. So again, we're going to set SID space SU space 0, hit enter, do an exit, do an exit. You're waiting for it to not return anything, then type ID. All right, still didn't function. So let's try ID one more time. Still not there, so keep doing exit, and it failed again. You just basically got to keep doing it, and you're hoping to catch the shell at the perfect time. So it's like I said, it's very fickle, but that's why I wrote the little script. So set SID SU0, hit enter, exit. Oh, that's good. ID. Okay, we got it, you see? Now this thing says root, 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 okay? So from here, that's a good sign. We're going to go ahead and open up this. It's just a text document. Alright, so you can see everything. So we've done these things. Now we're going to type in this. Copy. And we're going to paste it in here. And then you're going to hit enter. That's good. You still have a root shell now. Now we're going to wait just a couple seconds. We can actually just type in mount because it's easy. So we'll do mount, hit enter. Now, what you got to do here is you got to go look for system and see if system actually mounted correctly. Okay, so we're going to go look. Here's system right here. Okay, and right here, see this? RW. If it says RW, you're good to continue. If it says RO, you got to keep mounting. Okay, we're on RW, so we don't have to use mount. We can go to the next command, which is this. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste it in here, if I can. Oh, you stupid thing. Sometimes there's a copy. We're going to do a copy just to get the shell off. Then we're going to do copy, and then we're going to say, alright, we'll do it this way, paste. Oh, pasted it twice. Sometimes these things are fickly. Alright, so it looks like that. Go ahead and hit enter. This will go ahead and reboot the device when it's all said and done, and the shell actually closes as well. So now let's check out the device. We're done on the computer with our first initial root process. Okay, so the device just rebooted after we ran all those commands. And here we go. So what you can see is right here, su.binaries needs to be updated. That's a good sign. If we go into the app drawer, you can see right here, supersu is in here. Say you're an expert, you don't need a tutorial. Let's continue to update the su.binary. This is very important. Use the normal method only. If you use Torp or Clockwork Mod, it won't work because we don't have Torp or Clockwork Mod recovery installed. So we're just updating the su.binary, the normal method, and we'll be updated, and we'll have supersu running on this device. Now, this firmware you haven't really seen, right? Because I haven't shown it to you. But I need to show you some things that are in here. Just so you understand that this is very much engineered only. This talks about Knox. Go ahead and say OK to turn off Knox, disabling Knox. It's a good thing to do. So we'll say OK. And then it says reboot recommended, reboot or OK. I'm just going to say OK. No thank you. And there you go. supersu, free version, we're all good. Okay. So in here are some applications that you're not going to normally see. All right. And they do a lot of interesting things. And we probably need to research them a little bit more. But dev tools you've seen in other Android versions, older stuff. But this, IMS settings, IoT hidden menu, package inspector, Samsung keystring, smart edge test, Snapdragon SDK test. That's proprietary stuff. That is Samsung stuff, okay? For the developers. So you never know what you want to find. You can look around. You can find some cool stuff. Now, at this point, if you're planning on doing repairs to the phone, you have everything you need for root access, okay? If you're running a flash box, you can go ahead and run it with root access. This thing has root access. You can do that, okay? You don't have to do anything more if you're doing some kind of repair with root access, or you want to pull files with root access, or you want to push things, or any of that kind of stuff. It can be done from this state. Now, if you want to do more than that, that's what we're going to do in the next step. And the first thing you have to do is you have to go to the Play Store and you have to sign into your Google account and you have to install Flashfire to finish the next steps of this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all that and we'll come right back. Alright guys, here you go. This is Flashfire. This is by Chainfire, and this allows you to flash things with just root access. It's very dangerous and actually in all reality, but it can do some cool things for your device. So we're going to go ahead and hit accept. And we're going to go ahead and install the Flashfire application. It should be installed at this point right here. So we're going to go ahead and launch it. And we're going to see if we can get this thing to ask for root access. Generally what I find is there's an application blocking it. Okay? And if you come in here, let's see if we can find it. Not that one. Oh, it popped up. So good. Luckily it did. So we're going to grant. if you're having trouble granting, or if you missed the thing right there and you need to grant it access, then just go ahead and it says it failed to grant access, right? Let's say that's what it said. All you got to do is open up supersu, find it. It's not going to have a check like that. It's going to have something else. Click on it, come up here, say grant, hit OK, and then that will grant it access. If I can, it's not letting me do it. But anyway, that'll grant it access from supersu even if you miss the pop-up. So it's kind of a good tip. So from here, there's some things we need to put on our device, and I need to show you how to get those things. So we're going to go back to the computer and go ahead and get everything on the device that we need to finish the process to make this a more permanent root method for this device. Alright guys, here we are. I plugged my device back into the computer, made sure it's connected up. You can see it's over here in my menu here, my browser. So we need to push some things to the device. So I'm going to back up. Now we need this file right here, and we need this file, and we need them both on the device itself. So how do you get these files? Well, the system image file is part of your firmware package you downloaded just in case something messed up. So let me show you how to get that. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to come here and you're going to need a program called 7-zip, and I'll link to it probably also. And you're going to come over here and you're going to right click, you're going to open archive, okay? And you can see right here is the file we need. So then you're going to do an extract where it is and hit OK, okay? Once you've extracted it, it's going to be right here. Then you need to take this file and this file, and I mean you can do whatever, copy, however you want to do it, and you need to put it on here. Now what I found is I put the supersu file here on my SD card of my device, but for some reason I could not for the life of me get the other file to copy to SD card. So the easiest thing to do is take this one. It's so big, it's like 4.5 gigs, and just go ahead and come over here and say send, and then send it to the S8, okay? And then you're going to see the progress bar go across. So you'll have one file on your external, one file on your internal, or actually we could even take this one and copy and actually put it on the internal as well. So that way they're in the same place. So we'll do paste. So it's busy, which is fine because we're pushing 2 files. So we're just going to wait for this stuff both to copy over. There we go. And as soon as they're done, we can go back to the device and finish this process to get this thing back to, you know, pretty much what you had but with root access. And as stable as we can get this root method to get. And this marathon process continues. So let's just see if I can do it from here. We're going to go into File Browser, and in this version of Android, File Browser crashes a lot, so let's just see if it's here though. So there you go. There's the system image at the bottom, and there's supersu. So we've got the files we need. That's a good sign. So we're going to go into Flashfire, and we're going to go ahead and click this little plus button, and we're going to click on Flash Firmware Package. And it looks like it's on internal storage. We're going to click on that one at the end right there, our system image. And that's fine just like it shows. Hit OK. Very good. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to go ahead and click on Flash Zip or OTA. And again, we're going to go ahead and click on supersu. And then we're going to check Mount System Read Write and hit OK. So that looks good. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to see where it says Everroot Inject. We're going to go ahead and uncheck that. Hit OK. Very good. And then lastly, we're going to hit this one again. This one we're going to go to Wipe. And there's these 3 top ones done. That's all you want to wipe. So we'll hit OK. But then this is very important. We need to take this right here and drag it, long hold on it, and drag it to the top of the list. Okay? Just like that. Now, this next part, when we actually go ahead and flash this, is basically invisible. You can't see it. It looks like the phone's dead, but if you stare at it really carefully, my camera's no way going to pick it up. It's actually running code in the background. You just physically can't see it. So we're just going to go ahead and flash and hit OK to flash. So like I said, what it looks like it does is it looks like it shuts off, and it does. It boots into this like special mode, and you can't see anything, right? You can't see it. What's actually happening, if you squint down in there and you look at like a magnifying glass, or you get in the right light, it's actually flashing all the stuff we just set up. And what that's going to do is that's going to put your correct QEF for me firmware. Actually, you can kind of make out loading right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. You're going to get QEF firmware or system image back on the device. You're going to wipe it so it's clean again and gets over the other garbage that wasn't installed on there. And you're going to install supersu to system. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Oh, you can see flashfire on the top too. That's kind of nice. That's what's going to happen on this device when you're doing this process right here. When it all boots back up, you'll have system root access, right? You won't have systemless root. It's not modifying the boot image. It's system access of root, right? It's root with on system. So, you know, you're going to have things like Android Pay is not going to function. Things like Samsung Pay is not going to work. It's going to detect root in the system and not allow you to run it. Your safety net checks are going to fail. So there are some limitations to this root access here on the S8 and the S8 Plus. So we're just going to let it finish up. When it's done, it's just going to reboot. Again, you'll do your setup and you'll have a stable root. There'll be one more thing we're going to do to this device that's going to really stabilize it really well before it's all said and done. So I think this is running pretty good. Remember, it does have to go ahead and flash 4.5 gigs basically, plus supersu, which is tiny, to the device for the process to finish. And it looks like it's doing supersu right now. Again, I know you guys can't see anything. That's just the way it works. And there you go. We are rebooting. So there you go. That's what it does. You can see I didn't touch anything through that time. It's not a super long flash. But again, we're going to have to wait for it to boot up because it did do a wipe data factory reset, and that's going to take some time. So when it boots up, I'll show you it, and then we'll do the last final step and just show you how we're rooted fully and everything's pretty stable at this point. All right, the device has finished the flash finally, or finished the boot up, I guess you could say. So again, we have to go through this. Now, because we added a Google account when we went ahead and installed the flashfire application, this thing is FRP tripped at this point. Now, it's not a big deal. The Google account you added is the same one you need to add now. So I'm just going to go ahead and put mine in. See? Google account, FRP locked. Like I said, not a big deal. And honestly, if it was, you should definitely check out Galaxy Reaper over at Phone Lab. Pretty awesome tool. It would deal with this, no problem. So I'm just skipping through all the setup here just to get this to finish up. It's not a big deal. Just want to get into everything. Just want to show you guys just that we do have root access. supersu's in here. We're back to QEF, all those kind of good things. And there we go. So we've made it more stable by putting that back. You can see that also some of other stuff is missing, right? So we're not on here with all those special applications. Those got removed because those were in that other firmware. So here's supersu, and we can go ahead and hit start. No thanks, and that all looks good. Very nice. So we do have root access on the device. That's no problem. We do have basically stock firmware back on it. We can go into settings. Here we go. And then about phone, software version, yeah, QEF right there, build number QEF. So yeah, so everything's back, we're good. Last thing is the stability thing, and it's making sure that your radios are going to function correctly. And so we got to go back to the computer. But to do that, obviously we got to go back into download mode. So we're going to power off and boot the device back into download mode. So Bixby button. Volume down, power, volume up, and we're in download mode. So let me go ahead and flash this last file. All right, what a process, right? It's a bunch of back and forth, but it's going to get there. So here is the CSC file we need. This is what's going to rebrand us for T-Mobile and putting T-Mobile specific things on there. Make sure your radios are working correctly, those kind of things. CSC file right there. So to do that, we can go into here, and here's the normal Odin program. So we're going to go ahead and open it. And there we go, we're in Odin. We're just going to click on the CSC, and we just got to navigate to where it is on my computer, desktop, Sammy, here we go, whoop, too far. So you got to know where it's at. Here's my CSC file, there we go. And you can see this one, it did actually do a check of it. See, the other Odin didn't do that. And then we're just going to plug in the device. It's in download mode, as you guys know. And we're just going to wait for it to connect up. Should have a COM port up here in the top. There you go. Says it's added, and we're going to go ahead and click start. Now, the good thing is this does not wipe data factory reset the device. This simply goes ahead and just does the cache and the radios and those kind of things, and basically does anything T-Mobile related on the phone and pushes it all over. So we're done over here. We're going to go ahead and hit exit. What you're going to find on the device is it might go into recovery. If it does, just hit power to continue booting up the device. And it's also possible, let's see, you know what? I said it didn't wipe data factory reset, but it might. Let's find out if it does. Hopefully it didn't. If it does, it's not a big deal. You saw me just set it up. Just maybe before you do all the setup, flash these files, because otherwise you're going to have a pain. No, it did not. So we're good. We're good. Yeah, it just booted right up. So that's the process, guys. Device booted up. You have root access. You have the right T-Mobile stuff on there for me specifically. The right CSC. You have the right system image, and you have root access on your device. Mine just popped up for allowing ADB as well, which is kind of funny. But that is the full process. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'm only, like I said, kind of put all this stuff together for you. They are different files if you're doing the S8, not the S8 Plus like I have. But I'll have them all linked. You'll be good to go. So hope you have enjoyed the process. Hope you guys have learned a little something. And hope you're able to follow without too much difficulty. Also, if you guys can give me a big thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. If you like the content, make a comment below. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Root Junkie out.